Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So behind me, I got a 2015 Toyota Rav4. This thing has around 75,000 miles, and we're going to be replacing the serpentine belt today. Now, before we go ahead and do that, I do want to mention if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead, hit the subscribe button down below. It'll definitely help the channel grow. And let's go ahead and begin with the belt. So first thing, guys, is you want to come up to the passenger side wheel, and you're going to want to remove your tire. Just go ahead and unbolt it because you're going to need the access to be able to get in through the wheel well to be able to access your tensioner and belt. So that's going to be the first stage in this. Go ahead and remove the front passenger tire. Now that we went ahead and we got the tire out of the way, you're going to have to remove this access panel that's located towards the front of the car here. You guys can see this is the back and this would be the front. Now it has these clips in here. There is a special tool for it. However, I just use my pocket knife. You just kind of get up underneath the tab and work it around and they should come off. Once you go ahead and take the cover off, guys, I will mention there are 4 clips, 2 up top and then there's going to be 2 on the bottom. One's going to be tucked right up underneath. It'll hold this liner in place along with the shield that's here, and then the one in the back just simply holds on the shield. Now the first thing that you're going to want to do once you remove it is you're going to want to just kind of examine the area, see where you're at. This is going to be your crankshaft pulley, and if you go a little bit further up, you're actually going to have your tensioner pulley. What I'm going to do is go ahead and lift the car up a little bit further to show you guys access to it. So I lifted the car on the lift, guys, and I'm holding the camera in my hand because this is going to be kind of a tough angle for you guys to see. But here's your crank pulley. There is your tensioner right there. And if you notice, you have this cutout here. It's basically a 14 millimeter, I want to say. That's where you're going to want to go ahead and grab your tensioner pulley to be able to release the tension to get your belt off. One also important thing here is to make sure you kind of pay attention to how your belt is looped and wrapped around. If you wind up taking the belt off, or let's say your car for whatever reason the belt came off and you're trying to reinstall it, you can actually look it up online. But it's just easier to just pay attention, and that way you don't have to sit there and Googling it. Some pictures are accurate, some aren't. This one is a very easy pulley system. To be honest with you, I believe there's only, maybe 4 or 5 pulleys in this whole system. But this is where we're going to be putting our wrench to be able to loosen the tension. And I apologize again, guys, because this thing is in a very tight spacing here. It is very difficult. Even right now, I'm trying to find the perfect way to record this, and it's very, very difficult. Alright guys, so I looked at the options of what tools I could get in here, and I don't know how well the camera's going to pick it up, but it's very difficult. The frame is kind of in the way on this one. Now that tensioner bolt that we're going to have to get onto to be able to move it back and forth is a 14 millimeter. However, it's hard to fit a standard socket in there, so what I'm going to use is my little 14 millimeter nano socket that I have from Astro Tools. You guys have seen me use these in other videos before. They're awesome. I'll go ahead and put a link down below where you guys can get them. They come in 3/8 and 1/2 inch. They're very useful and they're very good for situations like this. So what I'm going to do is take my 3/8 ratchet, go ahead and see if I can get the correct angle to set this up on there. Now it will be a little bit of a fight, but typically you're able to get it on, and I do apologize because I kind of am in the way. Once you get it on there, what you're going to want to do is basically pull it back, and you guys can see as I pull it back that basically releases tension on my whole belt here. So let me kind of move the camera, and I do apologize guys, this is very difficult to film. I'm going to go ahead and hold my tension back, and I'm actually going to try to remove it off one of my pulleys. Usually the crank is not the best one to try to remove from right away, so I'm going to have to get my AC compressor off, and then I'm going to go ahead and very gently release the tension back and make sure that it's not under spring load, so that way it doesn't wind up popping on me. Now that you've taken your belt off of your AC compressor, you can go ahead and remove your entire belt off the assemblies, and then we're going to go ahead and get our new belt. So we went ahead and we got our old belt off, and I had to change the camera position, guys, simply because I couldn't really see anything up here. But what we're going to do now is go ahead and take our new serpentine belt, and I'm going to try to route it up underneath here, and we are going to try to put it up on our alternator. Now it's very hard to see the alternator, and this belt is very difficult to loop around there. So I'm going to use this special little hook that I have that you basically hook up on the belts like that, and you can make it go all the way up. And I know you're not going to be able to see the alternator. It is higher up here, and you can only really see it through the top. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and fish my belt all the way around the pulleys, and then I'll bring you guys back in. Alright guys, so I went ahead and I installed my belt on my alternator, then on my water pump. I looped it around back here to the tensioner and around the crankshaft. Now what I have to do is basically release the tension on the tensioner and be able to pull the belt over my AC compressor. I got the belt hung up on the pulley a little bit here, holding it into place. And all you have to do is go ahead and detension the tensioner here, and then just work it on the AC pulley. I believe I got it. Sometimes it does fight you a little bit. And then what I'm gonna do is go ahead and take out my wrench here and socket. See if I can get the correct angle, because it is a very tight spacing on the frame. Let me see here if I can just get this off here. Just like that. Now our belt is fully looped, and one thing you're going to want to check out for is make sure that it is in all the grooves correctly. Now I notice right here it's kind of hanging off. If you have your belt hanging off just by a little bit, you want to go back in there and go ahead and make a finite adjustment. Now I'm not going to put my ratchet on there because most of the tension is already taken out of it. So I'm going to take a regular wrench to put on here, and I'm going to detension it a little bit just to get the fine adjustment in. So that's all it took, and my belt looks to be on all of my pulleys. So as far as the belt going on, it's pretty much all said and done. Now I will be upfront with you guys, this job is a lot easier with two people, because normally what will happen is you can loop the belt all the way around, and putting it on the alternator last is actually the easiest way to do it. Unfortunately, you can't be down here and be up top at the same time. They do have another area on the tensioner up top that you can grab it from to try to leverage it, but I find it still very difficult to try to hold it with one hand from the top and loop it on the alternator. I will show you that in the next clip when I lower the car, but it is very, very difficult, guys. So we are up top, guys, and I did want to point this out to you as well. This is the nub on the actual tensioner. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it. You can also get a ratchet or something on that and try to position the belt up top here for last on top of the alternator. But as you guys can see, there's not a lot of swing room in here. It's very confined. That's why I prefer to use the bottom tab, which is just a little bit further down from where that one is. It just basically use your preference, but if you want, you can put a wrench on top here, go ahead and spin that out of the way. You would actually have to pull towards you, and then you can release your belt up here, go ahead, line it up on the bottom, everything, leave your alternator for last, and then go ahead and put a wrench on it again and, you know, adjust it from here and get it on. I find that it's more difficult, at least, you know, doing it from up here, just because they don't give you a lot of swing room. A lot of stuff is in the way. Plus, I find it to be very awkward when it comes down to removing the bolt this way, just because look at how close your adjustment bolt is, or where you're gonna have to pull on your tensioner compared to where your belt is. You have a very limited amount of room. So that's why I always attack these from the bottom. I know this video has been a little difficult for you guys to see exactly what I've been doing. So all you're really kind of getting is just like the gist of how to do this. It's not really, you know, 100%, you know, everything little by little, me showing it. Kind of just been like a brief description and a little bit of showing. So hopefully this video helps you guys out. That's how easy it is to replace a belt on a Toyota Rav4, guys. Now I do want to mention in this video, I really didn't show you step by step. I was kind of more like just showing you what I was doing in the area. And the main reason is because it's very difficult to go ahead and film this job. There's no spacing there, and I can't work fighting the camera. It's just counterproductive. So I try to do my best and show you the steps. So if you do have one of these, you're able to do it. And I will say it is very simple to do as long as you're not trying to film it. Usually this job shouldn't take you more than about 15 to 20 minutes in your driveway. As I mentioned earlier, also it's best if you have a buddy or someone to help you out. It's a lot easier to reinstall the belt that way, simply because you can have somebody detensioning the tensioner on the bottom, and then, you know, basically put it on the alternator from the top. I did show you guys where you can hook the tensioner on the top as well to be able to move it, but like I said, you only have about that much swing room on top, and it's a very awkward position, so I myself prefer not to do it that way, but if you can do it that way, there's also that option as well. So hopefully this video helps you guys out. Please comment, like, and subscribe because it definitely helps the channel grow. And with that said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll catch you guys on the next repair.